Hello, everyone. Welcome to a snowy Saturday here in Appleton, Wisconsin. My name is Sarah Simon. I'm excited to stamp with you today. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and holy cow, there are a lot of you who have jumped on. Let me say my hellos to Myra and to Julie and Karen and Carol, Angelique, Crystal, Marva. Julie, I said hello to already. Nancy and Tammy, Mary and Renee and Diane and Kelly and Kathy and Donna and Betty. I'm so glad you're here with me. And for anyone else who jumps on after, I look a mess. Hello, Marge. Um, so for those of you who are not in Wisconsin, we've had snow since about 7:30 last night. It has been snowing. And my mom and dad, as a gift for me for Christmas, they always pay to have somebody blow out my driveway for me when it snows, which is fabulous. Hello, Melissa and Sandy and Ann. Ann, not Anna, and Patty and Kay. But the guy always waits until the snow stops, which is, I appreciate that because otherwise my parents would probably be charged twice if he came twice, right? So I was having a card buffet this morning and the ladies were coming and I'm like, my driveway is full of snow. So I went out and shoveled an area so that they could at least come up and park and walk to my house. Well, it was snowing so much that my hair got wet. I looked in the mirror before when they were leaving and I'm like, oh, what a bad hair day I'm having. But I'm going live with it anyway. Hello, Denise and Carol and Cheryl. So anyway, that's why I look kind of the way that I do because I was out shoveling a little bit this morning, which was a little bit of good exercise this morning. We had fun stamping at my card buffet. They came out, weathered the storm, to be able to stamp this morning, and I'm excited to be with you this afternoon. Hello, Sarah and Bonnie. Let me start with some Happy Mail. I have 2 weeks of Happy Mail. Let me explain what happened last week. I was explaining it to the ladies last night. So I had the Wildflower Birthday to Go class that had to be out by Monday. And I was going on retreat for the weekend. So I didn't have all weekend to work on it. So I wanted to get it done before I left. So I had nothing hanging over my head while I was on retreat. And I could just relax and enjoy retreat. So I think it was Wednesday that I did that video, or it might have been Thursday. The days all kind of run together. And then I was going to have a live for you that was not live. So I ended up recording that as well, the cards that I'm making today. Well, earlier that week at school, I was showing somebody how they could possibly do something for school where they did a live broadcast on YouTube, Facebook, both Instagram, and they could highlight the events of things coming up in the school in that video. They could also have some of our graduates join them and explain what they've been doing in their life since they left our school. And when I was showing this person in their office, I said, okay, now you invite me and I'll join and I'll show you how you could bring somebody in. Well, we were getting feedback on my microphone, so I muted it. I didn't think anything of that because every time I come to my laptop and I start, I have to mute it every single time because it starts unmuted. So I didn't think to look at my phone and unmute it because I didn't mute it when I went on to make the videos. Well, I made them all and went to upload them to YouTube and they all had no sound because I had no microphone on any of them. Oh, I just about wanted to cry when that happened because now not only when I came home from retreat was I going to have work that I thought I had done, I had to cut all of the cardstock again to make the cards on the video because I had already made them on the video that had no sound. And then I was going to try to add sound over the top, and I decided I don't want to deal with all of this stuff. I'm just going to remake them. So I ended up making more work for myself. I guess you have to laugh about it because otherwise you'd probably cry and go crazy, right? So that was what happened last week. So I apologize for that. Yes, technology is wonderful, Kay. I love it. That's why I'm in it, right? All right, let me share some happy mail with you to make us happy. This I received from one of my team members, Donna. She brought it last night when she came out in the snow. How appropriate is that, right? And on the inside, it says, "Hope your day is as cool as you are." Donna's on here. Thank you so much. And then I have this beautiful thank you card that came to me from Joan, and she was thanking me for she got some sunny day iridescent dots. And she takes care of her disabled husband, who's a Vietnam veteran. And so she enjoys my video. So I'm glad that I can bring some joy to your life, Joan, when you have so much work that you have to do. Look at this beautiful. I love this fun fold. I've done that fun fold before. This comes to me from Becky Weisky, who also won something, a stamp set, and she was thanking me for that beautiful card. And then look at this beautiful one. Look at the detail in there with the scissors and the thread, or the, yeah, spool of thread. And this came to me from Anne, and Anne was on here. She won my creative challenge and won a bundle of her choice. And then look at this, thank you. Isn't that gorgeous? With those everyday arches and then using that hot air balloon paper. And this I think was from Mary. Yes, it was from Mary. She had won some low profile dots. And this beautiful card is from Angelique. Can't remember if I said hello to Angelique on here or not, if she's on right now. I know she always watches me. Normally she watches me a little bit later, but now that I'm later, I'm not sure. And this is gorgeous with that beautiful butterfly. And then Julie sent me this card. And Julie, I have to tell you, look at this. This is one of those opens like that. So Julie won my cards from, well, 2 weeks ago, she won when I was live last time. My desk was such a mess when I got home from retreat because I tried to get those two videos together. I had to create 6 cards, do a PDF for that wildflower birthday. I had to do my live. I just had crap. My mom can vouch for the fact that my office, it's still, you can kind of see there's some messes around yet that I have to finish picking up. But when I got to the bottom of my desk, there was Denise, there was a thing for you that was supposed to go out. Julie, they're all addressed. Why I didn't bring them to the post office and let them get buried on my desk instead, I'm not sure. But they will be going out first thing on Monday, along with the prizes for today. And then I also had one from Marcia, who that one was returned to me for the wrong address, and you sent me the correct address. So that is also all relabeled and ready to go out. So I apologize. Julie's thanking me for the cards that she hasn't even gotten yet. So you will be getting them this week. I promise. Angelique is here. Hello, Angelique. Hello, Diane. And all of you that have jumped on since. So I'm glad that you're here with me today. Let's give away some prizes, and these will go out tomorrow too, I promise. So receiving the cards we made 2 weeks ago. So we made this fun fold, and this uses the paper from that storybook Friends, and it also uses the frames from that storybook Friends. And it was a fun fold, and it says, "Knowing you brings joy to my heart." And then we also made with that Faith Collection bundle, we made this Thinking of You card with the everyday arches, which was inspired by another card that I received. So receiving these for commenting last time is Mandy Horr, Horr. And Mandy, I think I have your address in Wyoming, and I will be sending these your way. And then for sharing. So anytime you share. So for those of you that are new here, anytime you share, make sure that you wrote that you shared. I put all those names. I assign you all a number. I do a random pick, and whichever number I pick, the name that was assigned to that wins my prizes. So receiving a pack of these brass butterflies, we're going to be using these today in one of our cards, is Marva Dahoney. And I think, Marva, I see you on here, and you shared again today. Thank you for doing that. Marva, I don't have your address. So if you could send me a private message, either on Facebook, go to Create with Sarah LLC, and send a private message there, or you can email at me at createwithsarahllc@gmail, and I will get these off in the mail to you. And then for placing an order, I don't have a Coast code, but if you place any sort of order on from my store, um, you will be entered into a drawing as well and receiving the Pick a Season stamp set along with a pack of the fruit salad DSP. And if you have this already, you just have to let me know that. This is going to Kathy Kessler. And I see Kathy is on here. I know you made a card with this last night, Kathy. I don't know if you said you had it or not. This was what I had picked out for today, but then when I picked your name, I'm like, she might have this already. So if you do, let me know. If not, I will get it off in the mail to you. Hello to all of you who have joined. Karen, and let's see, I think I said hello to Karen before, but maybe not. Um, and Tammy and Bonnie and Lisa. Lisa, you won last week, and I need your address as well. You won 2 weeks ago, actually. It's sitting here with your name on it, but it wasn't in an envelope because I didn't have your address. So if you send me your address, createwithsarahllc@gmail.com, I will also get that off in the mail to you, and I can get one more thing off my desk because it's sitting here with your name on in case you emailed me. All right, I'm going to go ahead, set that stuff off to the side and get it and put in envelopes so that I can have it go out. You do have it, Kathy. I'll pick something out. I'll send you what I have and you can pick from the list of things that I have. All right. How's that? Let's go ahead and flip, and I will go ahead and let's see here. We got to do this and switch and go full screen. And I'm going to turn my overhead light off. There we go. Okay, for card number 1. Hello, Denise from Colorado. Glad you are with us today as well. So card number 1, I'm going to take a stamp set that I think is kind of hidden within our catalog. And I ended up getting a swap card. And I was like, where in the heck did they get this paper? And I'm like, it's not paper. It's a stamp. Hi, Becky from the Vegas airport. Oh my goodness. Are you coming home or must be leaving there and coming home, I'm guessing? All right. So the stamp set is this one right here. Did you miss this? I missed it. Tiled Techniques. So I had some hostess dollars left when I was checking out, and I was like, I am going to try this because I got a card and it used this one right here. And it was navy and white and it was beautiful. And I'm like, I have to have this. Look at these cards. I missed this stamp set completely. So when I had some hostess money, free money to spend, um, I decided that this was a stamp set I was going to get, and it's only $19. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a look. I'm going to show you a couple of color combinations. We'll make one, and then I'll show you one other color combination that we use. So this is what it looks like, Tiled Techniques. And it's really cool to be able to either put some things in the corner or to make a background. And a lot of these you could put one way and then you could flip it and do it the other way to make like a little square tile. Pretty cool, right? So let's take a look. Let me get this. I'm going to have to leave my comments for just a second to give you some dimensions here. So I decided for the card that I'm going to make with you, the color combination I'm going to use is Berry Burst and Bubble Bath. So this is Bubble Bath. It's our card base. It is 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it at the 4.25 mark. All right, I have a piece of basic white that we're going to be using, and this measures 4 by 5.25. That's actually going to be for our inside. I have another piece of basic white that we're going to be using that measures 3.5 by 4.75. Ooh, Becky saw the eagles at the Sphere. Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. All right, and then I have my Berry Burst. Now, this says 3.75 by 5. I lied a little bit. So what I did was when I put it in at 3.75 this way, I went and inched it back just that 1/16 of an inch. Okay, so it was at 3 3/4, and I'm like, I want it just a little bit shorter, so I'm just going to go a 1/16 of an inch shorter. And then this way I had it at 5, and I inched it back just a little bit and made it like a 1/16 of an inch shorter than that. So technically this is 4 15/16, but that would have freaked everybody out. And this one would have been 3 11/16. And I know that would have freaked everybody out. So I decided just to put 3 3/4 by 5 and let you know that I did just inch it back a 1/16 of an inch. All right. So that is what we have for dimensions. I'm going to go back to my comments. All right. And then I'm going to show you what I did for this card. So I started thinking I was going to make a background stamp. So I'm going to go through my whole thought process. This is what I did on the video last week too. And I thought I did a pretty good job of walking through what I did. So when I first started to make this card, I didn't have these two pieces. I was like, oh, I'm going to make a background piece for the front of my card. So I decided to take this little corner piece right here. And I decided what I was going to do was I was going to put that, I'm going to stand so that I can see what I'm doing here. And I decided I'm going to put that in each of the corners because it was on when I looked at the catalog. That's what they did with this piece. And I was like, wow, okay. Now, what am I going to do with that? What am I going to put in the middle of it? And all of a sudden, I'm like, well, that kind of looks like a diamond. And in our linked together dies, we had this diamond shaped die. And really, I thought that my paper was going to go like this. And then I was like, oh, I could put that in there. I'm like, oh, it's kind of big. There's kind of a lot of space in between there. What if I went with a little bit shorter piece of paper? So what I did was I cut this piece, which was 3.5 by 4 3/4 instead of the 4 by 5 1/4. And I repeated that same process. I went ahead and stamped in each of the corners. Okay. And then I went and took some bubble bath and I cut that out and I was like, ooh, I like that. Okay. It was not as much white space. And then I was like, since that's berry burst, what if since I didn't use a big piece, I layered it a little bit. I didn't really want just 1/8 of an inch. I wanted more than that, but 1/4 was just a little bit too big. So that's why I decided to do that extra 1/16 of an inch. Okay. So then if I put that on a bubble bath card, I really liked the way that that looked. All right, so this is where I started. Then I was like, what am I going to fill all that with? So I thought maybe I would emboss it. I did that. I didn't really like that. So I thought, well, there's other stamps in there. Let's play with the other stamps. So I pulled out one of the other tiled images and decided I was going to put something on the top of this. And I was going to put something on the bottom. And I was hoping they would kind of come together and touch, but they didn't. Okay. And I was like, oh, I could put a greeting in there. Oh, how about if I bring the berry burst in there and I put white embossing powder since there's white here. I was liking how this was coming together. Okay, what if I put a long strip in there and put like a greeting with it? And that's when I came to the beautiful butterfly set has this label right here, this really long label. And I was like, ooh, let's try that. So I cut out the label and I put that in there. And I was like, yeah, I kind of like how that looks with the things going on on the top and on the bottom. What did they have in that stamp set that would fit that label? And they had a happy birthday. So that's when I decided, let's take my white embossing powder and my Versamark ink. Let's ink this up and put happy birthday in that label, since that seems to be what it was made for. I gotta stand up again. So I'm going through like my whole, like, this didn't happen as fast as it's happening right now on camera. I can tell you that. This was a couple of hours of playing around and trying to figure out, what am I going to do with this? I really like it, but I want to do something a little bit different. So then I used my white embossing powder. And I heat sealed that. And through the magic of TV, we have that done. All right, I'm going to set this one over to the side so I can heat seal it off camera later, so I don't have to have you listen to that really loud sound. And then I came back to this piece and I'm like, well, this can be my inside, right? I don't have to ruin this piece that I had stamped. And so I looked for something that could be a greeting. And I think this is in, can't remember what the name of it is. So Sincere, maybe? Might be in the stamp set So Sincere. And I thought, well, that's a cute little greeting for a birthday. I'm going to go ahead and stamp that in the center. So that'll be the inside of my card. Then it was a matter of putting it together and deciding, what parts of this do I want to raise up on dimensionals and what parts do I want to just glue down. And so I messed around with it just a little bit. Let's bring this in here. I knew I wanted to raise this up. So I'm going to go ahead and put some dimensionals on the back of this. Oh, thanks, Kay and Donna. Yeah, it is a very interesting set. And I was just like, I'm like, I got this card and I thought the card, I should have brought the card in here to show you. Um, but I thought the card was very, very interesting. And I couldn't figure out where that designer paper was from. I was looking through all my designer paper, wondering, where in the heck did this come from? And then I realized she made it with a stamp. And so I'm going to go ahead and stick this in here and center it as best I can here. That looks pretty center. And then I'm going to got these little party dots. I think that's what these are called. No, rainbow adhesive back dots. They're not the party dots. These are bubble bath. The ones that are in the party dots are pretty in pink. So that's why I grabbed these. And I thought, my happy birthday is just a little bit short. So I'm going to put those on either end to add just a little bit of bling. All right. And I decided that I wanted this to be raised up as well on the page. I thought it looked cool when I raised it up. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some dimensionals and raise that up as well. I don't like to raise everything because then it has problems being put in the mail. So the most I like to raise is two things. So I had the greeting raised, and if I raise this, then everything else I'm going to put down with regular adhesive. Okay, that looks about centered. We'll go ahead, now that I put this on here, I'm going to put my adhesive, whoops, on there. And then we will put this on the front of our card. And then this is going to be our inside. Thanks, Karen. Thanks, Kathy. And then the only thing that, as I was looking at the catalog and some of the things that they did with this stamp set, some of them colored in these little loop-de-loop things here with a different color. And I thought, well, since this is all in Berry Burst and that's Bubble Bath, what if I take my Bubble Bath blend, and this is just the lighter color, and I'm just going to color in these different sections right here just to add a little bit of bubble bath to that layer. And if you wanted to, you could color in that little circle in that flower. I just did these, and then I'm going to do the same thing to bring in the bubble bath color on the inside, because everything on the inside was Berry Burst and the card itself was bubble bath. So I thought, well, we'll bring that bubble bath right inside with this. And you wouldn't have to do that. You could leave that blank. You could just leave it white. Okay, but that's what it looks like if you add just a little bit of bubble bath ink to it. Thanks, Angelique. All right, so this is one color combination with the bubble bath. And then most people know that my favorite Stampin' Up! Color, even though yellow is my favorite color, the Stampin' Up! Color that I go to the most is Misty Moonlight. So this is Boho Blue with Misty Moonlight ink. But you could take any different, I was thinking I would do Gorgeous Grape with Highland Heather. I was thinking you could do Calypso Coral with some Petal Pink. You could take any two colors that go together and you could put it together to make these cards. And you could make like a whole pack of them. There is a thinking of you in our Simply Said that is, actually, I think the thinking of you is too high. There is a happy birthday in there as well. That would work. I think there's a let's celebrate in there. I think there's a just a note or something. So there's a lot of different greetings that you could put in there and just make a whole stack of these cards. And I thought that that was kind of fun. So I'm glad that I spent I didn't spend, I'm glad I used the $19 that I had of free money to buy this stamp set because I had fun playing with that and I thought it turned out pretty cool. So that is card number one. Here was the other one. I used little boho blue dots. All right, card number two, and I'm going to put these dies away so that I don't lose them because like I said, I do kind of still have, I cleaned up a little bit, but I cleaned up my desk so I could do a live and that I could actually stamp on it because honestly, the other day my mom could tell you that there is no way I was going to do any stamping on my desk. It was heaped full of stuff that I just kept throwing on it from one project to the next. All right, card number two is a fun fold that I had not seen before. And I found it on YouTube. And the stamper that did it on YouTube was Verna Mullen. I had never watched Verna before. And so she was new to me. I'm getting all my supplies. Sorry, that was sitting on the floor right next to me. She was new to me, and so was this fold. And she called it an interlocking fancy fold, but I had never seen it before, so I thought I would try it. We are going to use, let me get my catalog again, because this is from our scrapbooking brochure that just came out at the beginning of the year. And we're using this everyday happiness. Okay. In my hostess dollars that I had, I also could get a 50% off something. So I hadn't purchased this bundle, but since I got something for 50% off, I decided I could get the bundle to use because I loved these flowers. I'm not going to lie, these greetings for my cards, some of them are really big and I don't know, better together would be a nice anniversary But some of them, the happy is a nice word that you could use somewhere, but these are meant more for scrapbooking. So, but what was nice about this paper, the everyday happiness, which is what we're going to use from this, and I'm going to use the bundle, is that there are only 3 different designs. Well, 3 sheets. Each sheet has a front and a back, so 6 designs. And you get 4 pieces of each one. So if you're going to be making a whole bunch of them, then you would want to, this would be a nice pack of DSP to have because you get more sheets of paper of each type. All right, so to see them live, we have this one right here. I used that one, I think, in a swap that I was in. We're going to use this one today with our card that we have. Oh, Renee, you watch Verna? I'm going to start watching her, I think, because I really loved the video that she did, and her directions were really easy to follow afterwards as well. And here's our little checked, and then the back side. Ooh, look at that flower. We're using that one too. Okay, so that is that paper. And let me leave my comments. Yes, Julie, it is really the prettiest paper. I just loved it. I had to use it. So I'm going to go to my banners and go away from my comments a little bit. So the first piece that we're going to use now, just so you know, for this fun fold, you need a full sheet of paper. You cannot get 2 out of 1 sheet of cardstock because the dimensions for the card base itself are 5.5 by 10 3/4. So a normal sheet of cardstock is 8.5 by 11. So basically you're cutting off just 1/4 of an inch off the 11-inch side and then cutting at 5.5. I kept my trimmer here. I thought I did. I'm like, I'm gonna have my trimmer. Oh, here, it's right here. I did move it to set something down there. We are going to score this at 1 5/8. So here is our 1.5. I can probably bring it a little closer. Okay, so there's our 1.5. So 1 inch, there's a half. 5/8 is going to be that second little tick mark. Okay, that's a 16th, and then that would be an eighth. So that would be 5/8, 1 5/8. I'm going to do 1 5/8 and 3 1/4. 1 5/8. Whoops, I got to get my scoring tool. I don't want to cut. And 3 1/4 from each side. And this is Lost Lagoon. So 1 5/8. I had one of the little STEM activities that I did with 2nd grade this month. It was called Hardest Stack a Heart. Heart a Stack. It kind of sounded like heart attack, but they were stacking candy hearts and they had to measure, they had a minute to stack as many as they could and try different techniques to try to get as many as, well, as many or as high as they could. I didn't really tell them. So that was part of the thing as well. But anyway, they had to measure, and some of them were really good at measuring, and then we had to stop for a second after the first one. And I'm like, okay, let's look at a ruler. Let's see, how do we measure? So I'm folding these in and then I'm folding them back. Sorry, I'm talking. So folding in and then folding it back. Okay, let me get the rest of the measurements for you. So I paired this with Pretty Peacock. And well, actually, this is going to be the inside layer, 4 by 5 1/4. We'll do that first. And then I used Pretty Peacock. And these measure, whoops, 1.5 by 5 3/8. Okay. And then we have this part of our designer paper, which these two measure 1 3/8 by 5 1/4. You can see how those layer right on top of there. And then we're going to have 2 interlocking pieces. So this piece right here at the top is going to be 2 7/8 by 3 7/8. And then the interlocking piece at the bottom, they're going to kind of overlap like this. This piece is 3 3/8 by 2 3/8. And on the top piece, I'm going to layer it with some designer series paper that measures 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. I don't think this is the right piece here. I had a scrap as well. Let me see what I got here. Goes on here. This is my scrap. Okay, the measurements I gave you are correct. That's just my scrap to punch out my label. Sorry about that. So that goes on there, 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And then I have some of the Lost Lagoon that measures 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. And I ran it through our Dashing Designs embossing folder. So that goes right on there like that. That's how that's going to be layered. All right. Then I have a couple of things that are falling out of here. So let me just make sure that I collect those. I have a piece that is going to be for my envelope. I have a stylish shaped circle, and I have a scrap of Pretty in Pink. Pretty in Pink. This is Pretty Peacock. And then I have a scrap of Basic White and an envelope. Okay. So let's go ahead and take that off. Let me go back to my comments. And Diane recently started watching Verna too. I did subscribe to her channel so that I can get notified when she goes live so that I can watch her. All right, let's do our stamping first. So we're going to stamp on this. I'm going to put all these things aside. We're going to stamp on this, and we're going to stamp on that, all the white stuff. I decided I wanted to make this a thinking of you card. So I don't know why I was pulling the all my sentiments from butterfly sets, but this is coming from the sketched butterflies, this thinking of you. And I've got Pretty Peacock ink that I'm using to stamp that on. And then I thought, well, I feel like it's just kind of stark white, because if you look at this paper, nothing is just like white. It all kind of has a little bit of speckly stuff on and things like that. So I decided I was going to take the Lost Lagoon and I was running out of blocks because I had a card buffet, which is a total of how many cards do I make? 16 that are there. So when you have the blocks for all of that, that's a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink this up. I'm going to stamp one on the inside. And I'm going to bring it up just a little bit so I have some room for some petals. And then I'm just going to stamp that off, the stamped off image, kind of in the background of it. See how that looks? It kind of looks kind of cool. All right. And then let's take our Pretty Peacock again, and we'll take some of the leaves that go with, one of the leaves that go with that bundle, and we'll just put some here and there. Okay, and then on the inside, I think I had a greeting. Yep, I do right here. Thinking of you today and every day. Or you could leave it blank. Sometimes with thinking of you, I like to leave them blank. That way, when I know what I'm sending it for, if it's get well, if it's sympathy, I could type that in or stamp that in afterwards. All right, I'm also going to pull a little bit of our gray granite. And they had these, whoops, I don't want to throw it around though. They had some of these little gray dots, and I'm just going to stamp a few of those around here as well. All right, just to give it a little bit of the dots from the paper. So my thinking of you is done. I wanted to have some flower and a flower image to have on the bottom section as well. Okay, Donna's also watched Verna's video, so she's popular and I didn't even know it. All right, I'm going to start with Lost Lagoon. And I have this, it's like 2 roses. And I'm going to stamp it in Lost Lagoon. Whoops, let's stamp it again. Good thing there's two sides to every sheet of paper. Okay, and then I have a cleaner right here. If any of you purchased my PDF or my to-go class, I couldn't find a cleaner on my video for the longest time. They were all buried. There were 3 of them on my desk when I got to the bottom of my desk, but I was trying to do this video without cleaning it, and oh my gosh, what a mess. We're going to do one in Pretty Peacock, and we're going to clean it again. And the last one that we're going to do is in Wild Wheat, because that's another color that's in this paper. Okay, so we've got 3 of those roses. All right. I will put that aside as well because I don't think I have anything else. All right, we do have in this with the dies, I have a die that will cut each of those out. And through the magic of TV, I have that done already for us. Okay, I stamped them ahead of time and I actually have them done, cut out. Now, what I decided I wanted to do with this, let me put the die away because otherwise I will lose it. A bunch of you just found Verna. I'm not the only one. Maybe because you follow me, she popped up in my feed maybe somehow because all of you follow her. Who knows? I don't know how all that stuff works. And I'm in tech, right? I am going to cut off. I'm going to take one of the Lost Lagoon roses. Doesn't matter which one, I guess. Actually, I think I'm going to take the one on the right because I'm going to trim this like this. And I want to go all the way up so that I don't take the petal part. And I'm just going to take a glue dot. And I'm going to look to see. So I took the one on the left. So I'm just going to line that one up with the one on the left. Here is the bottom part. And then I'm going to take, I'm sorry, the one on the right. Do I know my right and left? Hi, Lori. Well, this is a weird time for me, Lori, and I didn't put a reminder in yesterday that I was going late. I did that this morning, so it's hard to remember everything, right? So this is going to be my left side one. Now, you could have colored with markers and done that. I find sometimes with the stamp set or with this ink pad, I get a little bit better coverage. I don't have this lined up very well here. Let me get this lined up a little better. Bring it a little bit closer to my eyes so I can actually see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, so now I've got 2 different colored flowers. Like I said, you could do that with a marker. I sometimes feel the ink pad gives me a little bit better image than when I color it with my marker. So I decided to just stamp it 3 times and cut them out and do it that way. All right, we are ready to put this card together with our scrap, which I think this is the scrap. I'm going to pull out our new label punch. I can't think of the name of it. Someone on here will know. We can actually look it up in the catalog too. But isn't that a pretty stamp? And look at how when you do that stylish shaped circle, put it right in the center of that, how it just kind of makes that pop. Renee, you had me questioning my right and left. Yeah, I'm talking, put it on the left side and I'm putting it on the right side. Yeah, I do that sometimes. All right. So I'm going to get my bone folder out and It's going to bug me. Let's take a look. Did anybody give you the name of that label punch? Here it is. That's the extra one. Here it is. To the point label punch. It's in the catalog. Has two different stamp sets that you can match with it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give this a good burnish. Also going to give this one a good burnish. I actually think I'm going to go this way as well. Sometimes if you do them both ways, they lay a little bit flatter for you. Oh, look at that. Angelique got it for me too. To the point. Thank you, Angelique. Should hire you as my assistant, Angelique. Answer all the questions in my lives. Okay, so there we go. Oh, and look at that. Donna got it too. Johnny's on the spot. All right, these are going to layer. Now I wanted to keep it so that this stays up on the top so that I have the same colors in the same location. I don't know. I was just kind of picky about that. You probably wouldn't be able to tell because they're not right next to each other. It's hard to cover up that flowered paper, isn't it? Because it's so pretty, but I do like this other side too is very pretty. Every card that I think I've seen done with this paper, I'm like, oh, I love that card. And I think it's really, oh, I love that paper because that gingham is beautiful as well. Let's see here. Now, I did have a third project that I had on the video that I did for you that was recorded with no sound. And I'm going to do that actually next week for you. So anytime I do anytime that I do a to-go class and people buy the kit and they buy all of the cardstock, when I send it to them, I have some sort of a treat that I include in it. And because this was a birthday set, I wanted to do something that could be birthday related because all the cards were really birthday cards. We use that wildflower birthday, all of the those cutout punch outs and stuff that are in there. And so Little Debbie has a birthday cake. It's kind of looks like not a cube, but kind of like a prism. It's just like a four-sided little rectangular cake. And I found somebody online that 3 years ago, they made a little box that fit inside of. And so I recreated that with the paper. And I'm not doing it today only because I used all of the cakes that were in the container that I had, and I sent them all to the ladies with their kits that they purchased. And so I didn't have any of them. And then I didn't get to the store before today to actually get another pack. So I will next week give you the measurements for that and show you what I made for that little gift, that little treat. So that if that's something that you're interested in, you will have the measurements and you'll have a little sample. So I do like to give those measurements out to people, especially because the people who buy my kit, they don't get the measurements for that. That's just a treat for them. So this is how these are going to interlock. So we only want tape on this far right side here. We only want tape on the left side. But we really don't want to even go all the way out here because we don't want to tape this down because this is going to stick underneath there. So I really just want a strip of tape. And if you feel more comfortable using tear and tape, you can, or Seal Plus. I'm just putting it on with Seal. I found that mine stuck okay with that. And then here I'm going to put 2 strips because I can go all the way out to there if I want with that one. So this is going to go underneath. I'm just going to open it up for right now. We're just going to leave an equal border on the left side and on the top. Has anyone else seen this fold before? It was new to me. She did it with that frames that has like punch outs and things like that to go with it. And then I'm going to put this I'm going to put the thinking of you up on dimensionals, and I'm going to put this flat, I think. Yeah, that's what I did. I'm going to actually use a little liquid glue because I'm adhering this to, I think this is the back side. I'm adhering it to something that's embossed. I'm going to put the little points on the top and the bottom. Get that down there good. And then we'll pop this up on our dimensionals. Thanks for sharing, Lori. So we've got our thinking of you. And then we're going to take this flower and I'm just going to put a couple of mini dimensionals on there. And we're just going to pop that up down in the bottom corner. Kind of bring the flowers from the paper on the top into the bottom. And then, where did they go? I had them here. I might have to go get a pack in my thing. I'm going to use some of our brass butterflies. I did have a pack here. Oh, they fell on the floor. Probably when I lifted up all the paper to bring it up here to show you, they fell off. So I am going to, oops, here I have the scissors right here. I'm going to put one of them right here. Now the other one I put up here because of where my thinking of you was on the circle. I'm going to put one up among the flowers here. And we'll put one more maybe up there. Okay, so this opens up like that. So it was called an interlocking fancy fold is what she called it. I don't know if she gave it that name, if she made it, she got it from someone else. I'm not quite sure, but I loved the cards that she made. She made several different cards with the same paper, but just different combinations of the paper together and different die cuts that came with that. It's called Frames and something. It's in the annual catalog. But it was just gorgeous. And I was like, I have to make that. So I decided I wanted to try it with this paper. And then we'll go ahead and attach some of the designer paper. I think I'm going to use the flowers. This must be longer than 6 inches because normally it's not this long. I think it must be just whatever I had left there. So we'll trim around that. All those stripes would have been nice too. Doesn't really matter. You could have stamped one of these flowers in the corner if you wanted to as well. But there is our fun fold card. And I'll bring in my other ones that I had. So this was one that I did in Boho Blue and Misty Moonlight. This is the one that we did in Bubble Bath and Berry Burst. Look at that. That's what I have for you for today. I'm going to turn my light on. There we go. I'll come back to you. All right, that is it for today. Look at that, about an hour, not too bad. I think I must have talked longer. I think it was just about an hour too, the other one that I made. So thank you guys so much for joining me today and for supporting my small business. I will be going live again next Saturday. Next Saturday, I'll be back to my 8:30 a.m. time frame. I'm thinking I'm going to break open some of the new online exclusives that will be available the beginning of March. And the reason I thought I would break those open is I'm thinking I'm going to do a creative challenge. Those of you that have watched me before have been around for a while. For my creative challenge, I give you either a layout or a fun fold, and you have that next week to make a card using that layout or using that fun fold, and then posting a picture of it on my Facebook page or emailing it to me, and I'll post it on my Facebook page for you to get your name into a drawing to win the bundle of your choice. So you get to pick out whatever bundle you would want from the catalog or online exclusives, and then I send that to you. So I'm thinking with the new online exclusives starting at the beginning of March, that this is a good time to do that because there are going to be some really cool things. I'll show you some of the stuff that I got in my pre-order next week, and I'll actually make a couple of cards with some of it. There's one thing that has some textured paper for any of you who are demonstrators. If you got that, oh my goodness, I am just loving that paper. I cannot wait to try playing with that. So yes, I love creative challenges too, because I get so many ideas from all of you as well on how your take of it. So hi, Joe. So anyway, that will be next week, 8:30 a.m. If you are on the West Coast and that is like 6:30 a.m. for you, just watch it. Just you don't have to watch it live. You can watch it later. It all posts a little bit later. And I do go back and look at comments and stuff like that. So if you do ever ask a question, I try to find those and get an answer to you. So I know I don't answer every single comment. I'm sorry for that. It would take me forever. So anyway, I think that's it. I don't think I have any other announcements to make. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you can find a time to be creative. I think right now I'm going to go sit with my feet up for about an hour. I might even take a nap, but I'm going to set my alarm so I don't sleep the whole day away. And then I think after that, I'm going to start pulling out some of those new online exclusives because it's been burning a hole in my pocket wanting to pull those out. It's been driving me crazy not having the time. Yes, Renee, I am in the central time zone. So, yep, it is 1 o'clock here. Well, actually, no, it's 2 o'clock right now. I went live at 1 o'clock. So, anyhow, thank you guys so much. Have a great day. Find some time to be creative, and I will see you next week, Saturday. And if you're in a snow area, stay safe. Bye bye.